The odds for winning the World Cup next year in 2026 and how Brazil fare 7-1 as it stands right now behind Spain and France and level with England there. Yeah, and I wonder what you make of this and Brazil's chances here.
What I make out of it, where is Norway? I mean, that's what the first thing I asked myself. The coach of it.
You got to make it first, Jan.
The coach of Israel just said in a press conference that Norway was the second best team in Europe now after Spain. Having said that, I think it's interesting to see Brazil at the moment with Ancelotti. You always know that there will be a new dynamic in the team. And to your point, did he send a signal back to Real Madrid? Of course he did. But it's also interesting to see Ancelotti when he gets his time. He is the best in the world to put people together, find a way to let them act together. And I mean, not talking so much about system or 4-2-3-1, just to find a way to play together. So I think in a longer perspective and a longer meaning 6-7 months, I think Ancelotti will have Brazil up there among the best. I don't think they will win the World Cup, but he will make them a lot better.
Yeah, Gab, I won't ask you where Italy are when it comes to the odds right now, but what are your thoughts on Brazil being where they actually are with the odds makers?
I think there's a lot of faith in Ancelotti. I think there's a lot of respect for Brazil's history, and he said it himself. He has a lot of solutions up front. Let's not forget there's other guys from João Pedro on down that he can call on. I think the really interesting dynamic between Rodrigo and Vinicius, and I think we all have to consider how punishing the season is. When you look at the group of players, certainly, Mateus Cunha doesn't have to worry about playing too many fixtures because obviously Manchester United don't play in Europe. If Vini and Rodrigo are going to be kind of sharing time, Rodrigo especially, not an automatic choice of Real Madrid, and he comes to the World Cup and he's fully fit and fully fresh, I think Ancelotti's not going to choose players on reputation. He's going to choose players on form, and I think that's good news for Estevao certainly, and potentially good news for Rodrigo. But I agree, in midfield also, big question. That's the one guy he's been loyal to, Casemiro. What condition will he be in once the World Cup rolls around?
As for Spain, sorry, go on ahead.
I was just going to say, there's zero chance, and I mean zero chance, that Brazil should be favorites above Argentina right now. Look, Brazil struggled through World Cup qualifying. They had some difficulties. I tell you how difficult the situation was for Brazil. They drew against Venezuela. Twice! Okay?
You can't be doing that.
No, you cannot be doing that and tell me that you're the favorites to win the World Cup. No, right? No, my point is that if we're going to sit here and say that Brazil will depend in that midfield of Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes, and you look at the strength of the group of Argentina and how Argentina actually dominated World Cup qualifying and that whole campaign in the manner in which they did, Argentina should be higher in terms of the odds to win this World Cup. Brazil may have potential that maybe realize we actually know what Argentina looks like.
Okay. Did someone want to come in there? No. Okay. I wanted to ask you about Spain because we didn't get a chance to speak much about Spain yesterday. Now that they've played today, when it comes to the World Cup next year, where do you have them?
It's a similar conversation that we had about France yesterday regarding their game. Today's game with Spain, not much more than a training session, really. Honestly, they would get a whole lot more playing 11v11 and inter-squad within Spain than playing this game against Georgia. But I think what's actually more impressive about Spain is the team, not even the teams that's on the bench, the team that is not available because of injury. The players that weren't even in the stadium weren't even close to this call-up because of their injuries. And you're talking about Nico Williams, and you're talking about players like Lamine Yamal, or you can go Fermin Lopez, or Gavi, or Dani Olmo, and you can keep going down the line of players from Spain, and you're thinking they can actually be better than what they have been so far. I think Spain, much like France, they go into the World Cup at the very top of the very favorites to win the whole thing. My concern with Spain is sometimes in their willingness to play this expansive game, which I'm not going to criticize because it's much better than passing sideways and back and sideways and back, sideways and back, which goes nowhere. With Luis de la Fuente, they are more expansive, and sometimes managing leads late in games can be a problem for them because they don't really know how to defend a lead late unless they have the ball. And if you take the ball away from them, then defensively they have issues, just like they have issues in the goalkeeping position. Sorry, Shaq. But Unai Simon has a big mistake in him in a big moment. It doesn't get any much bigger than the World Cup. Those are my concerns, but it doesn't mean that they're not among the favorites and should be among the favorites going into the World Cup.
Gab?
Well, and if Unai Simon goes down, you've got Raya, you've got Robert Sanchez. There you go. No, I think Ali photographed it well. There may be a ton of talent, but yeah, that question for me still at the back, whether it's Robin Lenormand or Laporte or Vivian, under pressure without the ball, do they have that additional oomph? But I got to say, we are kind of like, and I say this from Italy's perspective, we are kind of like nitpicking, some of the strongest teams in the world and seeing where they may have flaws. I don't have Spain as World Cup favorites, but for me at least, they're right up there with the other ones.
Yes, do a great
Don't
job
underestimate.
nitpicking.
Yeah, okay. I just want to say, just don't underestimate the culture of winning things, culture of experience that they have, these teams. Because now we're up at the top. If you, for example, compare it to England, who can't win the championship, they need to win the championship. Spain and France will come there with the expectation that we just have done it in a modern time. They can see the way they're winning. I mean, that has always been the advantage for Brazil and Argentina because they know they have done it so many times. And you get a feeling of this Spain team, whoever they're playing, I think I'll analyze that very good, but the broad squad that they're having with all the players they got out to the team, but there's still this thing that when they come to a championship, it's just like, we're going to win this. I mean, we're going to go for it, and we just believe it. And some of the other candidates that is always up there when we are doing the betting before the championship, they haven't done it. They don't have the experience the last tournaments to win it, and you just get that feeling by Spain. There's just a right to win it, and you saw that with Argentina when they came back after a big loss against Saudi Arabia. It's just that feeling that okay, no, we're going to win this, and they believe it themselves, and not only the press like they do in England.